to our guests and TV watchers at home. First item on the agenda, Mr. Belkonis.
Board members, thank you. First item on the agenda is introduction of our new DPW director. Mr. Richard Carnavale is present this evening, and he is the gentleman who we selected to replace Mr. Hamlin, who will be retiring shortly. Mr. Carnavale is due to start work late next week, and I wanted to introduce him to the board so you have an opportunity to know a little bit about him. Just so you're aware of the process, we did begin advertising back in early June, and we had a screening committee that was responsible for interviewing a number of candidates. That committee provided myself with a recommendation, and chairman of the board, Mr. Masseri, and Allison, our human resources director. We did interview 4 finalists, and I'm very pleased to report that all of the finalists were of the highest quality. However, Richard really met what we consider to be our needs. He's got management experience. He's a career military man, but he's also spent considerable time working in the city of Peabody. He's presently serving in the city of Cincinnati, the city engineer. Might have been some research.
Quick thumbnail, born and raised in Beverly, Mass. I went to North University, entered the Army at 11 years old. After got out of the Army, I managed a small consulting firm, offshore, called it TV. I was at TV, I thought I was at TV for 23 retired me. That's what I was talking about. Stayed 15 years. I bring to the table when I manage military organizations, small and large, small consulting firms, actually have to payroll, I work in the private sector, public sector, I've a couple of organizations. I have a degree in environmental engineering, I have certifications in I have a lot of qualifications, but that's relevant, Greg is going to be more from staff, very pleased with what I see. I think we have a great staff here, seeing maintenance, things like that, so I'm excited to be here and work with the community. Any questions? You or regular staff, I'll be glad to meet all of you individually. What I do is my first.
Welcome to town, and having worked for former Mayor Terigi, and says volumes in my estimation. He was a very good friend, and good judge of character too, so it's well as far as I'm concerned. He was well credentialed. He has some big shoes to fill, for sure, and first snowstorm, we'll hear how well we do. But welcome to the town, and hope you have a long tenure with us.
Joe?
Yes, I'd like to say welcome aboard, and certainly glad to have you, and I echo everything Steve says. You have some big shoes to fill, but I'm sure you'll do fine. You're gonna find North Reading a very interesting community. We're little, but we're loud. Is the best way I can put it. Yeah, we have a lot of good citizen groups, volunteers in this town, and I think you'll find it very interesting.
Richard, welcome aboard. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you in the years to come.
Richard, I too welcome you aboard. I couldn't help but notice that the Farmer's Almanac predicted a very difficult winter for the Northeast, so...
No prediction is kind of an art. Technology wishes that high speed. What I usually use is the rock method to put a rock outside my office. If the rock is dry, blue weather, if it's wet, rain, it's light, sometimes I come out back with you.
Good answer, Richard. You prefer being called Richard or Dick? By Dick? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, board members, for your support throughout the process.
And don't feel compelled to stay all night. You'll be here enough.
Well, I have a very, going on dating, 14-year-old daughter who's going to tell me about my back license. Good hockey day game, so I must get her.
Okay. Next item on our agenda are minutes of August 17. regular and executive session. Mr. Yule.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the August 17th, 2009 regular session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, second by Mr. O'Leary. Any discussion? Mr. Vino.
Mr. Chair, that's the meeting I missed, I'll be abstaining.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
One, aye.
401. Executive session. Mr. Yule.
Mr. Chairman, wait, okay, hold on. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the August 17th, 2009 executive session minutes as written.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Yule, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention?
Aye.
Okay. Correspondence? Yellow sheets down at Allison. And then there's the item on the list. Anyone here for public comment? Yes?
Proper time to address motorcycle ordinance.
Time for public comment.
There is already this
See it?
So you have, could you
Sure. I think you could
state
prob-
your name and address?
Thank you for your letters and your correspondence and your
Thank you
willingness to
for
identify yourself.
allowing me to speak very briefly. I won't take up too much of your time, but my name is Bill McGarry from 170 North Street in North Reading, of course. And I can assure you, I did not have an in with the transcript and had that letter published the same day that the announcement about the motorcycle ordinance was published. I'd just like to say a few things, just quickly to let you know who I am. I've lived in North Reading for 11 years. I also happen to be, good, bad, or indifferent, the governor at the North Reading Moose, where there are a lot of motorcycle riders. I also own a motorcycle, and I'll thank the town of North Reading, or specifically North Reading Youth Softball, for that motorcycle, because I won it in a raffle several years back. Personally, I'm a regional sales manager for Covidian. I'm not a lawyer, although I am from a law enforcement family. My father was a police officer for the town of Wakefield for 30 years, where he happened to be a motorcycle officer, sergeant at the time. So I think that I have a good idea of where the priorities for a police officer may lie based on my experience with him. But to address the issue that I came here for, and again, I will try not to take up too much of your time, there's no question that we are not, and when I say we collectively, I'll speak for myself and the folks I've spoken to in town who have motorcycles, we're not in favor of noise. There's no reason that people should have excessive noise associated with their motorcycles. What we are against are unenforceable ordinances when the state already has regulations in place that regulate the noise that can be emitted from a motorcycle. In most towns, and you know this better than me, being selectmen, towns have to, or what we have been told is towns need to present particular ordinances to the Attorney General. In Hingham and in Salem, this exact ordinance was scrapped because the town councils in those towns didn't feel it was appropriate to pass muster with the Attorney General. In Portland, Maine, the same issue was brought up and that was defeated as well. Some of the reasons: in Salem, July of 2008, church complained of bikers disrupting services on Sunday, so the police set up a roadblock for noise ordinance citations. They issued 25 citations. 24 of those were for automobiles with defective exhaust. One was for a motorcycle. I don't know if you're aware, but the imprint that is supposed to be on motorcycles is also on cars. And my question to you would be, when will you check cars? When will you have the police officers check cars for that noise? If Meineke were still in town, they would tell you that they do not have imprints. Once the muffler is removed, that imprint is no longer valid. That imprint, fact of the matter, is an EPA regulation that applies to a new motorcycle. It's valid for 1 year or a 3,750 mile acoustical break-in period. After that time, it's invalid, according to the EPA. I don't know if you've seen what they look like. It's just it's an imprint that's on the exhaust itself. In Portland, Maine, the mayor and the police chief visited Big Moose Harley Davidson and inspected 110 motorcycles. One brand new motorcycle had a visible imprint. The only way the police chief felt that his officers